Hey, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever been scrolling through a website, whether it's on your desktop, laptop, or maybe on that tiny little phone screen of yours, and had trouble reading the copy? Not because of the size of the font, but maybe because of the color, if it wasn't just a straight black on white background? Well, today I'm going to touch upon the importance of color contrast as it relates to accessibility. So, if you are a fellow web designer or you're just someone looking to DIY their own website, you're going to want to pay attention because accessibility matters. But before I share all of that, if we haven't met, my name is Meg. I'm a Squarespace web designer for women service providers, and I'm the founder of Floating Lotus Design. So, let's talk about accessibility and color contrast. Accessibility is becoming a much more important and widely discussed topic among the web design world, and whether you've heard about it or not, it's still at play, and we expect it to become a bigger topic as time goes on, much like privacy policies and things like that were a few years ago. But when we're talking about accessibility, we're talking about making your website and its content accessible to those who may have otherwise challenges in being able to consume your content, whether that be videos, images, text, and that can be through screen readers. That's why we use alt text on images, so screen readers can read what the image is to those who are visually challenged, as well as how animations and other things work. We need to make sure that our websites are as accessible as possible. So that's a huge in-depth topic for another day, but I want to bring it up in the context of colors and making sure you have an appropriate level of contrast in the colors that you choose for your website. This is important so that folks can easily read the text that you have on your website. You want that because you want them to be able to stick around on your site. You don't want it to be difficult or challenging for them to consume your content or, worst case, annoy. You might have some colors that you're using that you think look great and they're fabulous or they match your brand or whatever, but in the context of a website and somebody's experience reading it, might not be so great after all. So, key number I want you to remember here is the number 4.5. 4.5 is the lowest end of contrast you want to have between two colors for them to be considered accessible. Anything below 4.5 will be challenging and may not be readable in all instances. Now, it can sound a little bit technical, and you're thinking, well, how do I figure that out? Well, fortunately, I have tools to share with you today that can make it really quick and easy for you to determine whether the colors that you're choosing for your copy, for your website, meet that level of contrast and will work well for you. So let me go over and show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I want to share with you some of my favorite tools for checking color contrast of your color palette. They're both by the Color Palette Studio, and the first one I'm going to show you is absolutely free. I will include the links down below in the description for this, but this makes it super easy for you to quickly go in and check and see if you have that contrast level you need. And they do an amazing job of showing you how it works, how to use it, and what to do. And as I mentioned, here's that 4.5 is what you're looking to have that contrast ratio be, 4.5 or higher. So real simple, you just scroll down here and you have two colors that you can input. Now, if you already have, say, the hex codes for your colors, you can just type them directly in here. Or if you have RGB or HSL or your hex, you can type them in here, or you can just pick a color. So I'm just going to pick a red here, and then we'll stick with a nice dark black. So once you input your colors, you click Compare Contrast, and it'll show you the results below. So it'll show you each of those colors on its background. And you'll see here, you would think a bright red over a dark black, pretty high contrast, right? But it doesn't meet the 4.5. Isn't that interesting? So see how quickly you can get a check on whether it's truly meeting those criteria or not? Now you may say, well, that's close enough. I say aim for 4.5 or higher. If you get 4.4, maybe you can get away with it. But this allows you to have the ability to start tweaking the colors. For example, what happens if I make this red more of a pink? What's this give us? Look at that, 7.16. So that's well above our 4.5 criteria, So this is such a simple and easy way for you to quickly go in and get an idea of whether or not the colors that you're planning on using as your text in your background will meet that accessibility criteria. And what if you already have a full color palette built, say 5, 7, 9, 12, whatever colors that you're looking to use for your brand or on your website? And I should also say, even though we're talking about website here, think about your other graphics you use for social media and everything. Let's try to be consistent across our website and our social media graphics. So if you have an entire palette that you want to check, they also have a wonderful tool available that will allow you to do that. And I'm going to show you that here. Now, this isn't a free tool. It's currently $47, but if this is something you're going to be doing on the regular, it's definitely a great investment. I personally use this tool all the time in my business. When I'm developing color palettes for my clients, I always go in and use this tester to quickly check and see if I'm on the right track or if I need to tweak anything. A lot of folks will come to me with a palette in mind. Maybe it's a beautiful monochromatic or something with a lot of, similar colors. And I can go in and build a palette and quickly adjust it and make sure that it is what they're looking for, but also compliant. And I won't dive into how to use this tool. It's basically the same idea as before, that you can input all of the colors of your palette and then you can click and check the contrast. Is it will then automatically show you all of the color pairings and you can filter to show just the pairings that meet the 4.5 ratio or higher. So those that are compliant. And then you can get snapshots of your palette and the compatible contrasting pairs and have that to save. $47, it's a great investment. It's just super easy to use. And I highly recommend it if you are wanting to check out the combinations of an entire color palette or several colors at once versus going in and doing one by two. But if you just have a couple that you want to look at, going into the free contrast checker, super quick, super easy. And you can test out different pairs and see what works. I highly recommend that you get into the habit when you are creating your graphics content or your website content. If you're doing anything beyond a black and white, that you're checking your contrast ratio and making sure they're compliant and accessible so that your content is easy on the eyes. So as you see, the contrast of the colors you choose can have a very big impact on how people perceive your content on your website. But that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to color palettes. There's a lot more that we can dive into, and I'll be sharing more of that with you soon.